I can't breathe, I whispered as I stared at the loading screen on my laptop. My fingers shook. Behind me, Mom asked softly, "Is it time?" "Yeah. Whatever happens, I'm already proud of you." I smiled without looking away. "You've been saying that for months." Because it's true. I clicked the button. The page refreshed. For one long second, nothing happened. Then my score appeared. I blinked twice. "Mom, what is it?" I think I did it." "What do you mean?" "I got the highest score." She covered her mouth. "No." "Yes." "No, Ethan." "I did." She rushed across the room and hugged me so tightly I almost dropped my laptop. "You kept your promise." I laughed through tears. "No, you kept yours first." She looked confused. "I only studied because you never gave up on me. I only worked harder because I wanted you to have choices. You worked 2 jobs. I would work 4 if I had to. I know. I'd do it again." I hugged her tighter. Every late night, every unpaid bill, every meal she skipped, every sacrifice suddenly meant something. She pulled back. "Call Mr. Harrison." "I will." A few minutes later, my phone rang. "Congratulations, Ethan," Mr. Harrison said before I could speak. "You already know?" The principal called me. "I still can't believe it." "I can. You never stop believing. Because you earned this." "I couldn't have done it alone." I only pointed at the road. "You walked every step." His voice became quieter. "Did you receive the other letter?" I smiled. "Yes." "Still keeping it secret?" "Until graduation." "I think that's wise. Only you and Mom know. It stays that way." "I promise." After the call ended, Mom looked at me. "You should tell Olivia." I hesitated. "Not yet." "Why?" "I want everyone to celebrate graduation first." "You've always been humble. I just don't want people treating me differently." She nodded. "Then wait." "I will." Later that morning, my phone exploded with messages. "Congratulations." "Amazing job." "You're incredible." Even teachers sent messages. By lunchtime, the entire school knew. When I walked through the front gate, students clapped. "Ethan, you actually did it. Highest score." I smiled politely. "Thanks." Someone slapped my shoulder. "You'll become famous." "I doubt that." "You deserve it." I thanked everyone, but inside I felt strangely calm. They celebrated my exam. They had no idea Harvard had already accepted me weeks ago. That secret felt heavier than every compliment. During lunch, Olivia hurried toward me. "There you are." She threw her arms around me. "I'm so proud of you." "Thanks. I knew you'd do it. You always believed in me." "Of course I did." She kissed my cheek. "You deserve every bit of this." Her smile looked genuine. Still, I noticed her eyes drifting past me. I turned. Jason was laughing with his friends across the cafeteria. Olivia quickly looked back at me. "What?" "Nothing." "You look distracted." "I'm just overwhelmed." I accepted the answer. Maybe I imagined it. After school, we walked home together. She squeezed my hand. So, can I see your score page?" I laughed. "You already know the score." "I know." "Then why?" "I want a picture." "A picture?" "I'm making a scrapbook." "For us." I smiled. "That's sweet. I want to remember today, forever." I unlocked my phone and handed it to her. "Here." "Thanks." She opened the results page. "Wow." "What?" "It still feels unreal." "It does." She lifted the phone. "Smile." I stood beside her. She snapped a picture. "Perfect. Can I see?" "1 second." She looked down at the screen for another moment. I thought she was checking the photo. Instead, her thumb moved quickly. One tap, another tap. Then she smiled. "Done." She handed my phone back. "Thanks for trusting me." "Why wouldn't I?" She leaned against my shoulder. "I'm lucky to have you." I wrapped an arm around her. "No, I'm the lucky one." She smiled again. I smiled too. I never noticed the message she had already sent. I never imagined that one moment of complete trust would become the beginning of the worst betrayal of my life. I knew something felt wrong the moment I walked through the school gates. 2 students stopped talking when they saw me. Another whispered, "That's him." I frowned. "What happened?" Nobody answered. I kept walking until Ryan grabbed my arm. "Ethan, what's going on?" "Not here." His face looked pale. "Ryan, you're scaring me. Come with me." We slipped behind the gym where nobody could overhear us. I crossed my arms. "Talk." He pulled out his phone. I didn't want to believe it. "Believe what?" You need to see this yourself. He handed me the phone. What am I looking at? Scroll. I did. My heart stopped. The screen showed Olivia's name. Beneath it was a message sent late last night. Attached beneath her text was a picture of my confidential exam score. I stared at it. No. Ryan spoke quietly. I'm sorry. This can't be real. I checked twice. I kept reading. Olivia had written, *C. I told you Ethan scored even higher than expected. *. Below that came Jason's reply. *perfect. Thanks. *. My hand started shaking. When did you get these? A friend sent them to me this morning. Ooh, they don't want to be involved. I looked up. Please tell me this is fake. I wish I could. I felt sick. You tossed it here. I know. I gave her my phone. I know. I thought she wanted a memory. Ryan lowered his head. I'm really sorry. I handed his phone back. I have to talk to her. You sure? I need answers. I found Olivia outside the library. She smiled the moment she saw me. Good morning. Can we talk? Of course. Alone. She noticed my expression. What happened? I showed her Ryan's screenshot. Her smile disappeared. Where did you get that? So it's real. Ethan. So it's real. She sighed. Yes. I waited. She stayed silent. What? It wasn't what you think. Then tell me what it was. Jason needed encouragement. I stared at her. What? He's been under so much pressure. So you sent him my private score? I only wanted him to believe he could improve. You betrayed my trust. I wasn't trying to hurt you. You never even asked me. I didn't think it mattered. It was my score. I know. It was confidential. I know. You promised you loved me. I do. Then why would you do this? She folded her arms. You're making this bigger than it is. I couldn't believe those words. Bigger? It was just one screenshot. It wasn't yours to send. He wasn't going to misuse it. How do you know? I trust him. Her answer hurt more than I expected. You trust him. I trust you too. It doesn't feel that way. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Ethan. No. I said I'm sorry. No, you explained. What difference does that make? An apology admits you were wrong. She looked away. I only wanted to help someone. You chose him over me. That's not fair. Isn't it? Before she answered, laughter echoed across the hallway. Jason walked toward us with two friends. There he is. He smiled. The genius. I said nothing. Jason shrugged. You know, our scores weren't that different. I looked at him. What? He grinned. I almost caught you. I frowned. You never saw my score. His smile widened. I've heard enough. Olivia suddenly looked nervous. Jason continued. Honestly, it's amazing anyone can improve that much. What are you implying? I didn't imply anything. You just did. He laughed. I'm only saying people are asking questions. What questions? You know. I don't. Whether your score is legitimate. My chest tightened. You think I cheated? I didn't say that. You wanted everyone else to think it. He shrugged again. People love gossip. They also love the truth. We'll see. He walked away smiling. I turned toward Olivia. You gave him the proof he needed. I didn't know he'd do that. You still trusted him. She whispered, Ethan, I'm done talking. I walked away before she could stop me. The rest of the day felt endless. Every hallway carried whispers. Every classroom felt colder. Some classmates smiled awkwardly. Others stared. A few avoided me completely. I heard pieces of conversations. Maybe Jason's right. The scores are suspicious. I heard someone leak the report. Each sentence felt heavier than the last. When the final bell rang, I packed my bag without saying goodbye to anyone. Ryan caught up with me outside. You okay? I forced a weak smile. I don't know anymore. You'll clear this up. I thought love meant trust. It should. I looked back at the school building. For the first time, it no longer felt like the place where my future had begun. It felt like the place where everything I believed about love had started falling apart. As I walked home alone, one painful question echoed through my mind. Had Olivia ever truly chosen me at all? I knew the rumors had grown beyond control when my math teacher stopped me before class. Ethan, stay for a minute. Yes, sir. He closed the classroom door. I need to ask you something. I already know what it's about. He sighed. I wish I didn't have to. So do I. Several students reported concerns about your exam. I didn't cheat. I'm not accusing you. Then why does everyone look at me like they already decided? He looked away. Because rumors move faster than facts. I nodded. I understand. No matter what happens, cooperate with every review. I will. When I entered the classroom, the conversation stopped. Nobody offered me a seat. Nobody smiled. Ryan waved me over. You can sit here. Thanks. A girl whispered behind me. Isn't he under investigation? Another answered. I heard his scholarship might disappear. I kept staring at my notebook. By lunch, the whispers had become louder. An administrator approached me outside the cafeteria. Ethan Carter? Yes. I need you to sign this acknowledgement. What is it? Your scholarship review has been temporarily paused while questions surrounding your examination are reviewed. I read the page twice. So I'm being punished before anyone proves anything? This is standard procedure. Understand. My hand felt heavy as I signed. Ryan looked furious. This is ridiculous. It's temporary. It shouldn't happen at all. I know. As we walked away, Olivia caught up with us. Ethan. Ryan frowned. I'll give you 2 minutes. He left. Olivia looked nervous. Can we please stop fighting? I never wanted to fight. Then why are you treating me like this? You sent my private score to Jason. I already explained. You defended him. I was trying to help. You keep saying that. Because it's true. I shook my head. You still don't understand. What don't I understand? You chose his feelings over my trust. Her voice became sharper. You're acting like I betrayed you. I stared at her. You did. She folded her arms. I didn't know things would get this bad. You never asked whether you should do it. I thought you would forgive me. I wanted to. Then do it. I can't pretend nothing happened. She looked frustrated. So Jason is the bad guy now? He spread the rumors. You don't know that. I know enough. She turned away. I can't keep doing this. Neither can I. She walked off without another word. Watching her leave hurt far more than I expected. That evening, I sat quietly at the dinner table. Mom placed a bowl of soup in front of me. You barely touched breakfast. I'm not hungry. You've hardly spoken all week. I'm just tired. She studied my face. Ethan. Yeah. Did something happen at school? I forced a smile. Everything's fine. She didn't believe me. I know that smile. What smile? The one you use when you're trying to protect me. I looked down. I'm okay. She reached across the table. If you ever need me, you don't have to carry everything alone. I know. I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to tell her about the rumors. About Olivia. About the scholarship. Instead, I stayed silent. Later that night, my phone rang. Hello. Ethan, it's Mr. Harrison. Good evening, sir. I heard about the scholarship review. So it's true. Yes. I feel like everything is falling apart. It isn't. It doesn't feel that way. Listen carefully. I'm listening. Harvard contacted me today. My heart skipped. They did. Your admission remains completely secure. They're not worried? They reviewed your file long before these rumors. I let out a slow breath. So nothing has changed? Nothing. What if the rumors continue? They won't erase the work you've already done. Thank you. I called because I didn't want fear making decisions for you. You always know what to say. I've watched students for 30 years. And the truth usually arrives later than lies. After the call ended, I stood by my bedroom window. Maybe he was right. Maybe I only needed patience. The next morning felt even lonelier. Students avoided walking beside me. Some looked embarrassed. Others simply looked away. As I packed my books after history class, a quiet voice spoke behind me. Excuse me. I turned. A girl I barely knew stood there. She held out a notebook. You forgot this. Thanks. I'm Sophia. I know. She smiled. I wasn't sure you remembered. I've seen you in class. She hesitated. I just wanted to say something. Okay. I don't believe the rumors. I blinked. You don't. She shook her head. I've watched you study after school for months. You noticed? It's hard not to. I laughed softly for the first time in days. Most people only noticed after the gossip started. I noticed before that. Why are you telling me this? Because everyone deserves at least one person who believes them. I smiled. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. I do. She picked up her backpack. See you tomorrow, Ethan. See you. As I watched her leave, I realized something important. Not everyone had abandoned me. Some people waited quietly for the right moment to stand beside me. Walking home, I stopped thinking about revenge. For the first time, I wondered if the truth could win without me fighting every battle. Maybe patience wasn't surrender. Maybe it was faith that lies could never outrun the truth forever. I walked through the hallway with my head down, while whispers followed me from one classroom to the next. That's Ethan. I heard the investigation isn't over. Maybe Jason was right. I kept moving. Ryan caught up with me. Are you seriously going to stay quiet? What would yelling change? You could defend yourself. I don't need to. You sound too calm. I've already said the truth. Then why let them keep talking? Because people who want to believe rumors never listen. Ryan sighed. I hate seeing this happen. I know. He lowered his voice. Jason's getting worse. I noticed. He keeps telling everyone your score doesn't make sense. I expected that. You don't even look angry. I am. Then show it. I shook my head. No. Why not? Because if I lose control, he wins. Ryan stared at me for a moment before nodding. I hope you're right. So do I. He walked away as Jason entered the hallway. There he is, Jason called. I stopped. You finally decided to look at me. I've never avoided you. He smirked. Funny. I thought innocent people usually defended themselves. I don't owe you anything. You owe everyone an explanation. I've already given one. Not a convincing one. I smiled slightly. Believe whatever helps you sleep. His smile faded. You really think you're smarter than everyone? No. Then prove you're honest. I don't need your permission to be honest. Several students watched us. Jason raised his voice. See? He still won't answer. I turned around and walked away. Behind me, I heard him laugh. That laugh followed me all day, but I refused to let it decide how I felt. After school, Mr. Harrison called. Ethan, can you stop by my office? I'll be there. When I entered, he closed the door. You've handled this better than most adults would. I don't feel strong. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. I sat down. Sometimes I wonder if staying silent is a mistake. It isn't. People think I'm guilty. People also change their minds when facts appear. I hope so. He smiled. I have something that might help. He opened his laptop. The admissions office wants to speak with you. My eyes widened. Now. They're waiting. The screen lit up. A friendly man smiled. Good afternoon, Ethan. I'm Professor Miller from Harvard. Good afternoon, sir. Congratulations once again. Thank you. I've heard there have been distractions. A few. I won't ask for details. I appreciate that. What matters is this. He looked directly into the camera. Your admission is secure. I let out a slow breath. I was worried. You earned your place through your own work. Thank you. We're also preparing an early scholarship announcement. I blinked. Really? Yes. Mr. Harrison believes the timing will be appropriate. I glanced at Mr. Harrison. He smiled but stayed quiet. Professor Miller continued. Until then, remain focused. I will. Do not allow temporary rumors to define permanent achievements. I won't. We're excited to welcome you. So am I. The meeting ended. For the first time in days, I smiled without forcing it. Mr. Harrison leaned back. Feel better? A lot. Keep that confidence. I will. As I left his office, I realized I finally had something nobody could take away. My future. The next morning, another rumor spread. Someone had reported the leaked score records to the school administration. Students whispered outside the main office. I overheard one teacher say, Principal Anderson has started asking questions. Another answered, someone accessed confidential files. I kept walking. Later that afternoon, I saw Principal Anderson speaking with several staff members. His expression was serious. He glanced toward the students before quietly entering his office with a folder under his arm. The investigation had begun. Nobody knew who reported the leak. Nobody knew where the evidence would lead. They only knew someone had crossed a line. Olivia found me after class. Why won't you fight back? I am. This isn't fighting. It is. You're letting Jason embarrass you. I don't need to embarrass him. She folded her arms. You don't understand. I understand more every day. I was trying to help. Every lie leaves a trail. She looked startled. What does that mean? It means the truth has a way of finding people. Her eyes searched mine. You've changed. No. I stepped around her. I finally stopped chasing people who refused to stand beside me. As I walked away, I didn't look back. For the first time since everything fell apart, I understood something important. Patience wasn't weakness. Sometimes patience was the strongest revenge of all. I knew the rumors had reached their peak when Principal Anderson called students into his office one by one. Nobody laughed anymore. Nobody looked confident. Everyone waited. Ryan found me outside the library. They're interviewing people. I heard. I think today changes everything. Why? He looked around before lowering his voice. I brought the screenshots. You did. I couldn't stay quiet. I stared at him. You don't owe me that. I owe the truth. You know Olivia will hate you. I'd rather lose a friend than lose my conscience. I nodded slowly. Thank you. He smiled. You would have done the same for me. Before I could answer, the office door opened. Ryan Cooper, the secretary, called. Ryan looked at me. Wish me luck. You won't need it. He disappeared inside. I sat alone in the hallway. Every minute felt longer than the last. Eventually, Ryan returned. How did it go? I gave Principal Anderson everything. The screenshots, too? Every single one. What did he say? He thanked me. That's all. He said facts matter more than rumors. For the first time in days, I felt a small weight leave my chest. Later that afternoon, Olivia stopped me near the parking lot. Ethan, please. I sighed. What? We need to talk. I don't think we do. We really do. I folded my arms. Say what you came to say. Her eyes filled with panic. Ryan gave them the screenshots. I know. You have to tell him to delete them. I can't. You have to. Why? Because everything is getting out of control. It already was. I never meant for this to happen. You still sent my score. I was trying to help Jason. You keep saying that. It's true. Then why are you scared now? She looked away. They'll think I broke school rules. You did. I wasn't thinking. I noticed. She reached for my hand. Please. I stepped back. No. If those screenshots disappear, this can all end. No. Don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You can fix it. I didn't break it. Tears formed in her eyes. I'll apologize. You've apologized before. I mean it this time. I believe you're sorry. Hope appeared in her expression. But I'm not deleting the truth. She lowered her head. You've changed. I finally learned to respect myself. She had no answer. The following morning, another meeting was announced. Students gathered outside the auditorium. Jason stood near the front, pretending to smile. When he noticed me, he laughed. This whole thing is ridiculous. I ignored him. Minutes later, Principal Anderson called Jason and Olivia into a conference room. Nearly an hour passed. When the door finally opened, both of them looked completely different. Jason spoke first. I never asked for anything. Olivia stared at him. What? You heard me. You wanted the score. I never told you to send it. You absolutely did. No. You kept asking about Ethan. I was curious. You begged me. Jason crossed his arms. That was your decision. Olivia's voice cracked. You promised you'd only look at it. I don't remember saying that. You liar. Careful. No, you be careful. Students nearby froze as their argument grew louder. You used me, Olivia shouted. Jason rolled his eyes. You volunteered. I trusted you. That's your problem. She stepped toward him. You said you believed in me. I said lots of things. You manipulated me. You made your own choices. Principal Anderson walked between them. Enough. Neither spoke again. Watching them blame each other felt strangely empty. A week earlier, I would have wanted revenge. Now I only saw two people trapped inside their own lies. As everyone slowly walked away, someone stopped beside me. Sophia, you okay? I think so. She handed me a bottle of water. You forgot this in class. Thanks. She smiled gently. I never believed the rumors. Why? Because I've watched you study every day. You noticed? It's hard not to notice someone staying after school until the lights turn off. I laughed quietly. I thought nobody saw. I did. Thank you. You don't have to thank me for believing the truth. Her calm voice eased something inside me that had been broken for days. When I arrived home, Mom looked at me across the dinner table. Ethan, yeah. We need to talk. I froze. You know, I know enough. I looked down. I'm sorry. For what? I didn't tell you. She reached across the table and held my hand. You were protecting me. I didn't want you worrying. I'll always worry. I know. She smiled sadly. Listen carefully. I met her eyes. People can steal your reputation for a while. I stayed silent. But they can never steal your character unless you give it away. A lump formed in my throat. I've been so tired. I know. What if some people never believe me? She squeezed my hand. The right people will. And the rest. They don't decide who you are. I smiled for the first time that evening. She smiled back. At that moment, I made a promise to myself. I would never chase approval. I would never beg anyone to believe the truth. The truth would speak loudly enough on its own. Graduation morning felt unreal. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my gown while Mom watched from the doorway. You look handsome. I look nervous. She laughed. That too. Do you think anyone will notice? Every mother notices. That's not reassuring. Good. Then you'll smile. I did. For the first time in weeks. It wasn't forced. Mom stepped closer and fixed my collar. No matter what happens today, I'm proud of you. You always say that. Because I always mean it. I hugged her. Thank you for everything. You earned this day. We earned it. She smiled. Then let's go see your future. The auditorium was already full when we arrived. Families filled the seats. Teachers moved between rows. Students whispered excitedly. I found Ryan near the stage. There he is. You ready? Not even a little. Good. That means you care. Thanks for the advice. Anytime. Sophia walked over a moment later. You made it. Barely. You look calm. I'm pretending. She smiled. You're good at pretending. I wish I didn't have to be. Today you won't. Her words stayed with me. The ceremony began. The principal welcomed everyone. Teachers gave speeches. Students laughed at inside jokes. Parents wiped away tears. I kept glancing toward Mom. Every time our eyes met, she smiled. Then Principal Anderson returned to the podium. Before we announce this year's scholarship recipients, we have a special guest. The room grew quiet. Please welcome Professor Miller from Harvard University. My heart stopped. Ryan turned toward me. Wait. I whispered, I know. You knew. Yes. And you didn't tell me? I wanted it to be a surprise. He stared at me. You're unbelievable. Professor Miller stepped onto the stage. Good morning. The audience answered together. Good morning. It is my honor to join you today. I felt Olivia's eyes on me from several rows away. Jason sat beside her. Neither looked comfortable. Professor Miller continued. Each year, Harvard welcomes students whose dedication and character stand out. I kept my hands folded. This year, one student from this school has already earned that opportunity. Whispers spread through the auditorium. I knew it, someone said. Who is it? Another whispered. Professor Miller smiled. Please join me in congratulating Harvard's newest incoming student, Ethan Carter. For 1 second, the room went completely silent. Then my name echoed through the speakers. Ethan Carter. I couldn't move. Ryan shoved my shoulder gently. That's you. I know. Then stand up. I rose slowly. The entire auditorium turned toward me. Some students gasped. Others stared. Then applause exploded around me. Ryan was the first to cheer. Let's go. Sophia clapped beside him. You did it. I looked toward Mom. She was crying. Mom, I whispered. She covered her mouth with one hand and kept applauding with the other. Every sacrifice flashed through my mind. Every late shift. Every tired smile. Every promise. I walked toward the stage. Professor Miller shook my hand. Congratulations, Ethan. Thank you, sir. You've earned this. I won't waste it. I know. The applause continued as I stood beside him. I glanced toward Olivia. She looked frozen. Her eyes were wide. Her mouth was slightly open. For once, she had no explanation. Jason looked even worse. His confident smile had vanished. He stared at me as if he had never seen me before. I could almost hear the question in his mind. How did I not know? The answer was simple. He had been too busy trying to tear me down and notice I was already moving forward. When I returned to my seat, Ryan leaned close. You kept this secret for months? Yes. You're insane. Probably. But I'm proud of you. Thanks. Sophia smiled. I told you today will be different. You were right. Across the aisle, Olivia finally stood. She looked at me. Ethan. I turned slightly. What? You were accepted already? Yes. Since when? Months ago. She looked stunned. Why didn't you tell me? I held her gaze. I trusted you with something else instead. Her face fell. Ethan, please. She stopped. I turned back toward the stage. The ceremony continued, but I barely heard the next announcements. All I could feel was relief. For weeks, I had carried humiliation, anger, and doubt. Now none of it seemed as heavy. When the ceremony ended, Mom rushed toward me. "My Harvard boy." I laughed. "You said you wouldn't embarrass me." I lied. She hugged me tightly. "I'm so proud of you." "I love you, Mom." "I love you too." Over her shoulder, I saw Olivia standing alone. Jason had already walked away. She looked smaller somehow. Not because I wanted her to suffer, because she had finally understood what she lost. She had traded our trust for someone who was never worth it. I looked back at Mom, Ryan, and Sophia. For the first time since the betrayal began, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel broken. I felt free. And when Mom pulled me into another hug, I smiled. This time, the smile was real. I never expected the truth to arrive so quietly. The entire senior class gathered in the auditorium after lunch. Nobody laughed. Nobody whispered for long. Everyone knew Principal Anderson had finished the investigation. I sat beside Ryan and Sophia. Ryan leaned toward me. "You ready?" "I don't think anyone is." Sophia smiled gently. "Whatever happens, you're not alone." "Thank you." Principal Anderson stepped onto the stage. He looked across the room before speaking. "Thank you for your patience." The room fell silent. Our investigation into the unauthorized sharing of confidential student records has concluded. I took a slow breath. After reviewing electronic records, witness statements, and submitted evidence, we have confirmed that confidential academic information was accessed and shared without permission. Several students exchanged nervous looks. The screenshots provided by multiple witnesses matched the school's digital records. Ryan glanced at me. I nodded without speaking. Principal Anderson continued. The investigation also confirmed that Ethan Carter's examination results were legitimate. A wave of whispers spread through the auditorium. He raised one hand. "Please remain quiet." The room settled again. There is no evidence that Ethan Carter cheated in any examination. For the first time in weeks, I heard applause that wasn't filled with doubt. It was filled with relief. I closed my eyes for a moment. The weight I'd been carrying finally began to disappear. Principal Anderson continued. Miss Olivia Bennett violated school privacy policies by forwarding confidential student information without authorization. Olivia lowered her head. As a result, she will receive formal disciplinary action and lose eligibility for student leadership recognition. Nobody celebrated. The silence felt heavier than any punishment. He looked toward Jason. Our investigation also determined that Jason Brooks knowingly accepted and used confidential academic information for personal advantage. Jason stood abruptly. "That's not true." Principal Anderson remained calm. "The evidence says otherwise. I never forced anyone. You knowingly benefited from information that did not belong to you." Jason shook his head. "This is unfair. Your scholarship recommendation has been withdrawn." His face turned pale. "You can't do that. We already have." He looked around the auditorium as if someone would defend him. Nobody did. He turned toward Olivia. "This is your fault." She stared at him. "My fault? You sent everything. You asked me to. I never told you to. You said you needed proof. I was curious. You promised nobody would find out. I never promised anything." Her voice trembled. "You're lying." Jason shrugged. "You made your own decisions." Before Olivia could answer, a young woman stood from the visitors section. "That's enough, Jason." Everyone turned. Jason's expression changed instantly. "Emma." She walked toward the stage. Principal Anderson nodded politely. "I believe you requested to speak." "I did." She faced the audience. "I'm Emma Brooks." Jason looked embarrassed. "Please don't." She ignored him. "I've listened to my brother blame everyone except himself." "Emma." "No." She looked directly at Olivia. "I owe you the truth." Olivia swallowed hard. "What truth?" "My brother never intended to date you." The room became completely still. Emma continued. "I saw the messages." Jason looked away. "He told his friends that if you liked him enough, you'd do anything he asked." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "No." Emma nodded sadly. "He called you useful." Jason stepped forward. Stop talking. You also told your friends Ethan was your only competition. He clenched his fists. Emma, you wanted to score because you hoped to find something you could use against him. Olivia covered her mouth. You said you believed in me. Emma answered quietly. He believed you would help him. Olivia looked at Jason. Tell me she's wrong. He stayed silent. Jason, still nothing. The silence became his answer. Olivia took one slow step backward. I ruined everything. Nobody answered. She looked toward me. Ethan. I met her eyes. I'm sorry. I stayed quiet. I'm so sorry. Tears rolled down her face. I thought I was helping someone. You were. She frowned. She cried harder. I hurt the only person who never lied to me. I felt sadness settle where anger had once lived. You betrayed my trust. I know. I trusted you with my future. I know. I would do anything to change it. I shook my head. You can't. I know. I don't hate you. She looked surprised. You don't. No. What do you feel? I took a slow breath. I miss the person I believed you were. She lowered her head. I don't deserve your forgiveness. This isn't about what you deserve. It's about what I destroyed. I nodded once. Yes. She wiped her eyes. I hope one day you remember something good about me. I already do. Her eyes filled again. Then why does this hurt so much? Because good memories don't disappear when trust does. She whispered goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Olivia. She walked away without looking back. Ryan stood beside me. You okay? I will be. Sophia smiled softly. You already look lighter. I think I am. As I left the auditorium, I realized something I hadn't understood before. Justice didn't erase the pain. It simply gave the truth a chance to breathe. That was enough for me. The first thing I noticed when I arrived at Harvard was the silence inside my own mind. For months, every morning had begun with anxiety. Now it began with hope. Mom smiled as we carried my last box into the dorm. So, you finally made it. I looked around my small room. I still can't believe it. She laughed. I can. I couldn't have done this without you. She shook her head. You earned your place. We earned it. She smiled warmly. I'll accept that. I set the final box beside my desk. Mom looked around the room. It's not very big. It's perfect. You really think so? I've dreamed about this room for years. She laughed again. I used to dream about having enough money to buy your school supplies. I looked at her. You never told me that. You didn't need another reason to worry. I'm sorry you carried all that alone. I wasn't alone. You were. No. She touched my shoulder. I always had a reason to keep going. Me? You. I hugged her tightly. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. I always will. She stepped back and wiped away a tear. I should let you settle in. You don't have to leave yet. If I stay, I'll cry even more. I might too. She smiled. Call me tonight. I promise. I love you. I love you too. She walked toward the door before turning around one last time. I'm proud of the man you've become. Those words stayed with me long after she left. A knock interrupted my thoughts. I opened the door. Sophia stood there holding 2 cups of coffee. I guess you might need this. I smiled. You're a lifesaver. I've heard Harvard students survive on coffee. We'll find out. She handed me 1 cup. How's your first day? It still feels unreal. I know the feeling. I'm glad you're here. So am I. We sat near the window. She looked across the campus. Do you ever think about everything that happened? Sometimes. Does it still hurt? I thought for a moment. Not the way it used to. What changed? I realized something. What? Nobody stole my future. She waited. They only showed me who deserved to be part of it. She smiled softly. That's a healthy way to see it. It took a while. I'm glad you got there. So am I. She laughed. So, are we officially college students now? I think we are. Scary. A little. Exciting too. Definitely. We spent the afternoon exploring the campus together. Nothing felt forced. Nothing needed a label. For the first time in a long while, friendship felt peaceful. When I returned to my dorm that evening, an envelope rested on my desk. There was no return address. I recognized the handwriting immediately. Olivia. I opened it slowly. Inside was a single letter. Ethan. Asterisk. I don't expect you to answer. Asterisk. Asterisk. I don't expect another chance. Asterisk. Asterisk. I only want to tell you something I should have understood much earlier. Asterisk, asterisk. I confused admiration with love. Asterisk, asterisk. I kept chasing someone who never respected me, while taking for granted the person who always did. Asterisk, asterisk, you deserved honesty. Asterisk, asterisk, instead, I gave you betrayal. Asterisk, asterisk, I'm sorry. Asterisk, asterisk, not because my choices had consequences. Asterisk, asterisk, because they hurt someone who trusted me completely. Asterisk, asterisk, I hope your new life brings you everything I failed to protect. Asterisk, asterisk, please don't forgive me because you feel sorry for me. Asterisk, asterisk, only forgive me if your heart is ever ready. Asterisk, asterisk, goodbye. Asterisk, I folded the letter carefully. For a long moment, I simply looked at it. Months earlier, I would have read every sentence with anger. Now I only felt sadness. Not for myself, for the life we might have shared if trust had survived. I placed the letter inside the top drawer of my desk. I didn't tear it apart. I didn't throw it away. It belonged in my past, not in my future. The next morning, I stood outside my dorm with my backpack over one shoulder. Students hurried across campus. Professors greeted new classes. The entire university seemed alive with possibility. I took a deep breath. Everything that had happened back home had shaped me. It had tested my patience. It had broken my heart. It had forced me to choose between bitterness and growth. Standing there, I finally understood the answer. The greatest revenge had never been ruining the people who betrayed me. It had been refusing to let their betrayal ruin me. I smiled, not because my past had disappeared, because it no longer controlled my future. With one confident step, I walked through Harvard's gates toward my first class. This time, I wasn't running from my past. I was finally walking toward the life I had earned.